at Wild and Free Rehabilitation Center on the banks of the Crocodile River. It's time for Deirdre Hubert and her daughter Dumi to take one very special orphan for her daily exercise. Luca is a 3-month-old serval. These elusive and slender wild cats grow to the size of a greyhound and live in Africa's woodlands and open savanna.
Come, Luca.
Despite a small head, their 2 large ears help detect rodents and small birds in the tall grass. And they use their extraordinarily long legs to pounce onto the unsuspecting prey, often playing with their food before they eat it. It's hard to imagine, but just a few months ago, Luca was fighting for her life. During a harvest, a local farmer discovered 3 serval kittens. While one was sold, the other 2 were left with the owner's pregnant pit bull. The dog attacked and killed one kitten before turning onto Luca.
She had a broken rib. One lung had 30% capacity, the other one completely collapsed.
Luca remained in critical care for weeks, being drip-fed every hour with regular x-rays and visits to the vet. Today, 3 months later, despite nearly losing her life, Luca is growing into a playful and curious young serval. But she's not out of the woods yet.
A week ago, she couldn't walk. She was completely lame in her back legs. Even her tail didn't even move.
Initially masked by her life-threatening injuries, it was only recently discovered that Luca is also suffering from a vitamin B1 deficiency.
These feeds are very important, obviously, for her to pick up weight. We've got her supplements in there, and we're teaching her basically how to eat now.
As well as her protein-rich diet and daily injections, Luca must exercise 2 hours a day to help rebuild her strength. So, Deirdre's daughter Dumi is more than happy to help out with play therapy.
It's super great to raise babies that got either abandoned or people picked them up, because each new animal, I learn new things with my mom and I get to feed them and watch them grow up.
These simple games of cat and mouse are the perfect training program to teach Luca how to hunt in the wild.
Baby animals that just got abandoned from their mums can't feed themselves and keep themselves warm because that's why mother is there. So yeah, I think the job that we do is pretty amazing.
Luca's injuries were so severe, most orphans wouldn't have survived. But Deirdre knew she couldn't give up.
To see her improve is the most rewarding thing you can ever see. Any animal that you really fought for, and you can see that animal still got that fighting spirit, and you fight with that animal, and you pull it through. It's the most rewarding thing.
Once Luca is strong enough to hunt and survive on her own, she will be released back into the wild, something Dumi is preparing herself for.
Well, I feel sad in the beginning, but in the end, I know it's the right place where they're supposed to be. When I'm older, I might become a vet because I also want to be like my mom and help animals that can't look after themselves.
As for Deirdre, Luca has become her inspiration.
Everything that happened to her, and she kept on fighting. And I learned a lot of lessons through the animals I rehabilitate. We mustn't give up. You've got the will to live. You can make anything happen. To see animals that suffered and to pull them through and see them start running, start being a serval like Luca is, it's extremely rewarding. And one day to know you can release them back into the wild that's why I do rehabbing for these days.
As Luca continues to rebuild her strength, ready for a life back in the wild, 3 other servals are about to be released. Situated in the shadows of the majestic Drakensberg Mountains, we find Moholoholo. Here, Brian Jones and his team of highly trained staff have been helping care for injured and orphaned animals of all shapes and sizes for the past 30 years. And today, the team are releasing 3 young female servals that arrived here as kittens after they were handed in by local farmers. Now weaned off milk and old enough to hunt for themselves, they've spent the last stage of their rehabilitation in this large enclosure to rewild.
We've kept minimal contact with the servals in their enclosure because you don't want them to get used to people. So if I go in there, they'll actually run away from you. They don't want to be close to you.
Which is going to make catching them rather tricky.
We must just be quiet.
To reduce any stress on the animals, only Brian enters the enclosure to set the traps. He needs to be as quick and quiet as possible. If the servals get spooked, this will all be for nothing.
You can't just expect to trap these servals on the first night, so they have to get used to the trap cage first. So what we've been doing is been feeding these servals in these trap cages for about a week.
Can you see what's happening here? I'll show you now. This is the weights that are going to stay up here. Open the trap. I put that pin underneath it like that, very sensitive. Then he comes in and the dove will be hanging in there. See now when they pull this, the gate closed. You see that?
To help entice the servals inside, bait is secured to the trigger pin.
Hopefully that'll work.
1 trap set, 2 more to go.
See them running up and down. I'll do this one now. You see now we're hanging the meat up, so when he walks in, he's got to put pressure on that pressure trap. So when he pulls this, he's going to put all the weight in his front legs to make that, that'll make that go off, hopefully. You see how wild this guy is? That's why it's a candidate for going back to the wild. Let's just check this one now as well.
Once the 3rd and final trap is set, all they can do is wait.
There's no guarantee in this sort of thing so whatsoever. It's a hit and miss, so they know the trap. They're very clever.
No one's allowed to be around those servals or around that area, otherwise they're not going to get caught.
We must all get out of here totally. And then hopefully they'll start to investigate and then we'll see what we can catch.
With no one in sight, the servals slowly begin to emerge from hiding. Once all 3 servals are captured, it's now a race against time to get them to the release site. Nikita uses a blanket to reduce the outside stimulus and keep the servals calm while inside these smaller cages.
Now let's just see. Now he's got to run into here, so we've got to undo this little door and hopefully he'll jump through.
You want that open?
You ready? Okay.
Do you want that open?
This one can come now.
Each serval is then transferred to a transport crate, loaded and ready to go. The stress, movement, and hot temperatures during transport can kill some animals.
We'll have to get going fast. Very close this. Okay.
So there is no time to waste. With the precious cargo on board, the team head off to the Serval's new home. Back over at Moholoholo, Brian and the team arrive at the release site with the 3 female Servals. Despite the stress and the heat of the journey, all 3 have made it safely and are ready to be set free back into the wild. This large private nature reserve has plenty of space for the Servals to find a territory of their own, where they can live, hunt, and hopefully find a mate. But most importantly, they'll be far away from any humans. This 5,000-hectare reserve borders the Kruger National Park and has become a new home for many of the animals Brian's rehabilitated.
We've released a whole lot of leopard here, spotted hyenas, civets, honey badgers, all sorts. And hopefully they'll go into the Kruger itself or stay here, because it's the ideal habitat for servals.
Despite growing up together, servals are shy, solitary creatures, and once free, each female will establish their own territory, living alone until it's time to start a family. For all the centers, these are the moments that they strive for, to rescue, rehabilitate, and release these wild animals back into the wild.
All the work that the volunteers and the staff have put into Moholoholo for saving little animals makes this worth it. Yeah, it really adds a capping stone.
Seeing these servals getting released, it's amazing. It's the best part of my job is seeing these releases, knowing that you've done something good and you've given this animal the second chance of life. It's just an amazing feeling to see them go.